Let's be real. In business, every single rupee counts. So what if I told you there's a specific tax form out there that's actually designed to put money back into your pocket? Today, we're going to master FORM GST ITC-01. Think of it as a key tool for anyone in the GST system. Let's dive right in.
Okay, quick question for you. Have you just registered for GST for the very first time? Or maybe you've been around a while and you just made the switch from the composition scheme over to the regular one. If you're nodding along to either of those, you're going to want to pay close attention.
Because here's the thing. You could be sitting on a pile of tax credits that are rightfully yours. Yeah, I'm talking about a refund on the GST you've already paid on stuff for your business. It's just sitting there, waiting for you to claim it. This isn't about more compliance headaches. This is about getting your money back.
So, how do you get your hands on these credits? Well, it all starts with one single, really important document. Let's break down exactly what FORM GST ITC-01 is and how it acts as the key to unlocking that cash.
Okay, so officially, FORM GST ITC-01 is a declaration. You file it to claim something called Input Tax Credit, or ITC for short. You use it at the exact moment you become newly eligible for these credits according to the law. The best way to think about it is like you're raising your hand and telling the tax department, hey, my situation just changed, and now I'd like to claim the tax I've already paid on all the stock I have.
Now, I know input tax credit sounds super technical, right? But the idea behind it is actually pretty simple. It's basically a system that gives you credit for the GST you paid on your business inputs. You know, things like raw materials, stuff you buy to resell, or services you use. The whole point is to make sure you're not paying a tax on tax, which is one of the biggest benefits of the GST system.
So, what exactly can you claim this credit on? Well, it's pretty broad. Of course, you can claim it on raw materials and other inputs you have in stock, but you can also claim it on inputs that are already part of your semi-finished goods and even on the inputs inside your finished products that are sitting on the shelf, ready to sell. Plus, in some cases, you can even claim ITC on your capital goods, like big machinery.
Okay, and this brings us to probably the most important question of all. When exactly are you supposed to file this form? The law is very clear and lays out 4 specific situations where filing an ITC-01 is a must. So let's take a look at what they are. All right, let's walk through these 4 scenarios. First up, if you have a new or voluntary GST registration, you get to claim ITC on all the stock you had on hand the day right before your registration date. And listen, this is a once-in-a-lifetime chance. Second, if you're moving from the simple composition scheme to the regular scheme, you can claim ITC on your stock and your capital goods from the day before you make that switch. And finally, if you sell something that used to be exempt from tax but now it's taxable, well, you can claim credit on the stock related to that item from the day before the change happened.
Okay, you've figured out which scenario fits you. Great. Now for the hands-on part. How do you actually file the form? Honestly, the best and easiest way is by using the GSTN's own offline utility. And trust me, it's way simpler than it sounds.
Now don't worry, we're not talking about some crazy complicated software. It's literally an Excel spreadsheet that the GST network gives you. And the beauty of it is that you can fill in all of your invoice details carefully, offline, without a spotty internet connection messing things up. It even has built-in checks to help you catch mistakes before you upload, which, believe me, saves a ton of headaches.
And here's how you do it in 6 easy steps. First, you download that Excel file from the GST portal. Pop it open, put in your basic info like your GST number and why you're claiming. Then, you just carefully type in the details from each invoice you're claiming credit on. Step 4 is where the magic happens. You click this button that says Validate Sheet. It'll instantly flag any errors for you in red. Once it's all good, you click Generate JSON, which creates the special file you need for the website. And finally, you just log into the portal, upload that one file, and you're good to submit.
So what happens after you hit upload? Well, in a perfect world, it's a success. You get to preview the form and then formally submit it with your digital signature. But hey, if there's an issue, seriously, don't panic. The portal will just give you back a file called an error JSON. You just open that file in the same Excel tool and it'll literally highlight the mistakes for you. You fix them, generate a new file, and upload it again. It's a built-in correction system. Easy. We are almost at the finish line, but hold on, before you rush off to file, let's quickly run through a final super important checklist to make sure your claim sails through without a hitch. If you only remember one thing from this entire explainer, please let it be this number, 30. You have a very strict 30-day window to file this form from the day you become eligible. This is the single most important rule. You miss that deadline, you lose the credit.
Simple as that.
And just a few more quick-fire reminders. First, you absolutely must have the proper tax invoices for every single claim. No estimating. Second, make sure the goods you're claiming are actually eligible for ITC in the first place. Some things are blocked. And finally, if you're claiming credit on capital goods after switching from the composition scheme, just know there are some very specific rules for that.
So let's bring it all home. Look, I get it. It's easy to see a form like this and think, ugh, more paperwork. But I really want you to reframe how you see this one. This form isn't a hurdle. It's not a burden. It's your key. It is the specific tool the government created to help you unlock and get back the tax money that is rightfully yours. By understanding which scenario you're in, following these simple steps, and just remembering a few key rules, you can absolutely navigate this process and give your business's cash flow a nice little boost. So the only question left is, are you ready to go claim your rightful ITC?